Morning guys, it's Andy here from Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. I hope you're all doing well. So those of you that have been following the channel know that I've been playing around with this sort of dragon scale crackle effect of coasters, and it got me thinking, to me this kind of looks like lava. Where you get sort of the black pieces of lava coming up in the lava. If we could try and create some sort of lava effect for the transparent, and then have that sort of darker black coming through, I think we could get a really cool lava effect. So that's what I'm going to try and do today. There's no guarantees it's going to work, but that's the plan. And if you're new, do me a favour, like and subscribe to the channel, because you would be amazed. Only 20% of the people that actually watch these videos subscribe, and it makes a huge difference to the channel just subscribing, because obviously that's how YouTube knows that people are actually liking the content, and it pushes it out to more people and helps the channel grow. So if you can do me a favour, click on that like and subscribe, and let's get on with this project. So I've got my big mixing bowl out. I'm going to be doing these coasters again because I quite like the shape at the minute. It's really growing on me. And I'm going to be using the T-Expert resin as well. So first things first, just going to mix up about 8 ounces, because I did try sort of 7.5 yesterday, and I don't think that was quite enough. I think I was being a little bit stingy. So I'm going to mix up, as I say, 8 ounces this time, and see how that does. And I'm actually really happy with this resin now, trying it. I have noticed though that the sale that was on doesn't seem to be on anymore, so the price has gone back up, but it's still very affordable compared to a lot of the other resins. And as I say, I love the consistency of it. I love the clarity. And I love the fact that it's quite easy to debubble as well. So again, it's dead straightforward. I managed to get 2 gallons. I think it was £87, and I've noticed it's gone back up to, I think it's about £100 now. So quite a big difference. So I'm going to keep my eye on it for the next sale, I think, and get some more. But I think when you work with resin, you're always looking at different resins, and once you find one that you're happy with, stick with it, because you get to know that resin, you get to know the consistency, you get to know the temperatures, and the more you work with it, the more experienced you get with it. So I've got different resins that I prefer for different projects. I've got the Let's Resin 1-to-1, which I prefer for my pendants and smaller projects, and then now I found this T-Expert that I prefer for these slightly larger sort of coaster projects. I'm still looking for a good one. I like the Apex resins as well, but I'm still looking for a good one to do my canvases with though. So a good sort of tabletop epoxy. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know in comments. It'd be great to sort of get a resin for that as well, and then I'll have a resin pretty much for every project that I work with. And all I'm doing here, mixing it round, I'm going to put it in the debubbling machine, and then I'll come back straight after, and then we can get on with this pour. And that's one of the things I love about this dragon scale crackle effect. It is so simple, you know, it doesn't have to take hours. Once you've mixed your resin, it's literally pour it in the coaster and see what happens. Sometimes it'll work, I think, sometimes it won't, depending on the consistency and the thickness of your transparent colours and the thicknesses of your micas or whatever you're putting in. I want to try this as well with pigment paste and just see if I get a different effect to what I do with micas. So that's an upcoming experiment, but today I want to see if I can get the lava effect in the coasters. So we will see. So I'll come back as soon as this has gone through the debubbler, and then we'll get pouring. There we go, guys. That's gone through the debubbler and pretty much bubble free. So really happy with that. Now, I just wanted your thoughts on something as well. So do me a favor, put something in comments. Would you rather buy something off eBay or off Etsy? Because I'll be honest, I've had my Etsy shop going for about 2 or 3 months now, and I've had no sales. And I know the pieces I've put on there, I personally think they're great. And it could be that they're not, and I'm just overthinking things. But I'm just wondering if eBay is going to be a better platform for me to sell on than Etsy. And obviously I'm happy to ship worldwide. And I think sometimes that's a bit easier through eBay, but I'm just curious to know your thoughts. So do me a favor, let me know in comments, comment below, because as I say, I'm getting so many great resin items at the minute. They're filling my home, which is great in some ways, but I need to start selling them, and hopefully that will pay for a bit more resin and a few more different things to start doing experiments with. So let me know in comments, would you rather buy something from Etsy or would you rather do it from eBay? It'd just be curious to know. But let's get into the project. So as I say, I'm going to be using this coaster mold. I got some really nice sort of dragon scale crackle effects with it yesterday, so I'm going to do it again. Now I'm thinking here I'm going to need some different colors. Now to create the lava, again, it needs to be pretty much semi-transparent. So I have got some lemon yellow resin dye and I have got some red resin dye. So from Let's Resin. And I'm probably going to need to add some color to those because I've got a feeling they won't be the color that I want. So I'm going to pretty much fill up 2 of these pots. And this is just for that clear layer. Maybe 3/4 of the way. And then I'm going to fill another one of these pots for the black layer, because yesterday when I did it, I think half filling it was not enough. So I'm going to do that and see where this gets us to. Now, I think I am going to have to refill these and mix in between. I need to get some slightly bigger cups for when I'm doing these bigger projects. But there we go. So I'm going to go with the yellow first. And I think I'm going to need quite a bit of this. So I'm going to go with 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the same with the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, it's quite wishy-washy colours I find with these resin dyes. They're not very strong. So what I'm going to attempt to do as well today, and I don't know if this is going to affect the crackle effect or not until I've done it, but I'm going to try and add some alcohol ink to it because it should still keep it translucent, but hopefully it will give me a more rich colour, which is what I want, because I don't want wishy-washy colours in my coasters when they cure. So just going to mix these up and see what colours we get, and then we can concentrate on the mica and the pour. So this is that lemon yellow, and it's almost fluorescent. Look at that, guys. Very, very bright, and I think that's too bright for me for lava. So I'm just going to add 2 drops of orange Let's Resin alcohol ink, and I think that will tone it down a little bit, but also give it, 3 went in, a more realistic sort of lava colour. And I'm hoping it doesn't overtake everything. I want it to sort of blend and give me a combination of those 2 colours and almost a light orange. There we go. So to me, that's a nice colour. Looks a little bit like orange, a little bit like lava, I hope you'll agree. But look at that, when you pull it out on the stick, it's virtually transparent. It's really strange when you're working with these transparent resin dyes. And again, I'm going to do the same with the red. And for me, that is more pink than red. So automatically, I'm going to add some alcohol ink to that as well. And I've got just the standard Let's Resin red. I'm going to add quite a few drops though to that, because again, I'm not happy with the depth of the colour. So that's 6 drops. Let's see what that looks like. For the red. But automatically that's a much deeper colour, which is what I want for this hopefully lava project. We'll see what it comes out like. So there's that. So I think I'm happy with those as a colour. So that is those. Now for my mica. Now lava, when it sort of comes to the top, and this is what I want in that crackle effect, tends to just be black. So I'm going to add black. And I think I'm going to need 2 of these centres, if memory serves correct, from yesterday, because I literally ran out, which I don't want to do mid-pour. So I'm going to pour another one of these cups and mix them together. So there's a lot more mica going into this than transparent. And I've still saved a little bit of transparent in there so that I can just pour out those centres, hopefully. So I'm going to try and mix these 2 up exactly the same. So this is just standard black mica powder. And I'm just going to add a decent amount to each. Not too much, but a decent amount so that I know it's going to colour the resin well. And me being me, I don't want it to be just black. So I do want to add a little bit of sparkle to these. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of chameleon powder. Just to give it a bit of a sparkle. I've got this Galaxy one. Again, I don't want it to overtake, but I just want a touch of something going through the black. So it gives it a little bit of a sparkle. So there we go, just that much. And hopefully they'll mix up well. We'll find out in a second. So that is my transparents. And hopefully, once these are mixed, it will give me a really deep, dark black with a little bit of sparkle. And if you're doing like I just did there and add in the micas, just really make sure you mix it slowly to start with so your mica powders don't go absolutely everywhere, so that they get absorbed into that resin, and then really scrape your sides, guys, as well, so that it thoroughly mixes with that resin. And I like that as a colour. It looks like dried up lava, which is what I was going for. And let me know what you think in comments, guys. Do you think this is going to work, or do you think I'm just going slightly crazy with my resin experiments again? But I just thought it'd be cool to try and see if I can get that lava effect. And there's no guarantees with resin, there never is. And I've got some white crystals as well from Temu, which glow up in the dark in front of me. So I might add some of those to the center of each as well. See how we go. See how much what clear I've got left to sort of push it out a little bit further and see where we get to. But again, I think these would look quite cool even if you don't add a center, because then hopefully you'll get sort of a solid clump of lava. So there we go. That is my colors pretty much mixed. And now it's simply to go in with the pour. So with my transparents, I'm probably going to want the red to go to the outer edges, I think, and then the orange in the middle. So I'm going to start off and puddle pour, essentially. The red first. And then I know I've probably got about 2 ounces of clear left there to push it out with. So what I might do is just get these rocks ready, because I think I'm going to add them. Once I've got an idea in my head, it kind of happens. So just getting another cup out for those. And again, I'm just going to add the tiniest bit of clear resin, because you don't need a lot for these centers. Literally that much, I think. And these are those, and as I say, they're meant to be glow in the dark, and they're meant to glow a sort of fluorescent blue. Haven't tested that yet. But I just think they'll be interesting as a center. So I'm just going to stir those around. I'm just thinking I've actually got a little bit of golden papaya mica left. So I might actually mix that in with these crystals and see if that actually slightly colours the crystals and gives us almost solidified sort of orange looking crystals for that centre. I don't know, but you don't know unless you experiment. So there we go, that's pretty much coloured those now. So we've got sort of goldy orangey crystals for the centre, and I don't know what they'll cure like. So it's the first time I've tried actually adding mica to the resin to those crystals, so we will see and hopefully find out together. But they literally solidify really quickly. It thickens up your resin. So we'll have a look at those as well. So first things first, transparent layer. I want red to the outside, so I'm going to pour the red first, just giving it a little mix. And this is going to be quite difficult because these cups are quite full. And anybody that pours from these cups knows that it's a lot easier if they're sort of half full, but I'm going to attempt it and just sort of go for it. So I want a good puddle in the center of each, like that. And again, this might not work, so it's all an experiment. You never know until you try things. And that's what I love about working with resin. There's so many different combinations, so many different experiments you can do, and they should all give you very different effects. So trying to keep it reasonably even across these. And I want to use almost all of it, just for this first layer. But just as I say, trying to keep it in sort of a puddle pour motion in that center on each of them. And it's going slightly array, but again, this is just for lava. I don't think it'll matter in the end result. So again, they're about probably half covered, I would say, with that red, which is great. And now I'm going to go in with this orangey color, orangey yellow. And hopefully that will give me enough to just spread it out all the way to the edges on each, like so. And again, I'm not being too cautious. I'm just going for it, as you can see. And hopefully, I'm going to give this a second, but hopefully this should now be enough to just give me that thin surface and go all the way to those edges. If not, I can always mix up a tiny bit more. But again, once I add the mica, it's going to push it out anyway. So again, I'm not overly concerned. I just want to make sure that there is a thin layer, at least covering all of it, because it helps the mica spread, I think. So again, I'm just going to use my stick, go around a little bit, help it on its way to the sides, but I think it's pretty much there. I'm just encouraging it ever so slightly to make sure that all of these edges have got a thin coverage, so that when I go in with the black mica, it helps that crackle effect and we don't get an uneven effect, because that's the thing. I want to keep it quite even if I can. So pretty happy with that. Now, as always, any of these molds, make sure you go around with your silicone tool as well and wipe your sticks, and then you can use them on the next project. Just to get rid of those bubbles before I add the actual mica. And again, what I'm going to do is, as I go around the edge as well, this is also going to help it spread, but this is where your bubbles like to live. It's in these edges of these coasters. So again, just going around the edge of each of them, trying not to disturb the resin too much, but again, just trying to get those bubbles out if there are any in those edges. And then what I'm going to do is just give it a quick torch, and that should hopefully get rid of any of those surface bubbles. So that is that stage. Pretty straightforward. And I'm really liking the way that these two colours have mixed, actually. So if this works, I'll have to remember the exact mix that I used to do it again. And now it couldn't be simpler. Literally almost to the top now. I'm going to go in with the black mica from the centre and just puddle pour it in till they're almost filled. Like so. And it's probably about half a cup I'm using for each one of these. And again, I want them about 3/4 of the way full at this point, because I still want to be able to add a little tiny bit of clear in the center of each. So I'd say that's pretty good. And again, I don't know if this is going to work. My first time trying this, especially with black mica. And part of me thinks I'm a little bit crazy for trying it with black, but we'll see. So that is those. Maybe one more drop in there, and I've got a little bit spare, so that will probably fill up my drip dragon mold I've got at the side. And now what I want to do is just break it up a little bit in the center. So I've still got some clear in here, and then I'm going to quickly add some of those crystals. So there we go, a bit like that, and that is pretty much full. And there's just, again, I don't know if that's broken them up enough, but I'm just going to add probably half as much as that into the center and see what happens. Again, we might get an effect, we might not. All part of the fun. So there's that one. Next one, again, just want to push it out a little bit like so, and then I'm going to add some of these crystals again in that center. I'm going to have a play around with these centers in a minute just to make sure that they are all level. I just want to get this process done so they're all reasonably equal. And again, that one pushing it out. There we go. Trying to get it in the center or as central as I can. And I'm not sure if you'll even see these underneath the black mica, if I'm being completely honest, but we'll find out together tomorrow at Demold. There we go. And now all I'm going to do is just use my tool, even these out a little bit, making sure they're central, pushing them down, making sure that everything's covered in resin, which it is. And as I say, just trying to keep them reasonably central in that center. Then I'm going to torch it, and then we're just going to let the resin do its thing. So it will hopefully create that sort of dragon scale effect, or that crackle effect, depending on what you want to call it. And it will give us hopefully a cool effect that resembles something like lava. But there we go, they're all pretty much full to the top. Got a tiny bit of resin left, so I'm just going to make sure that they are by just pouring a tiny drop again into that center. And again, that helps push that center out a little bit. And I just want to make sure that they're all pretty much full. And we will find out tomorrow if this has worked or not. So let me know in comments, guys, what you think. Now, I have got some spare resin here. So as I say, I'm just going to pour this into my drip dragon mold, and that should actually fill that mold up. So I should hopefully be able to demold that tomorrow as well. So again, just wiping off my sticks. And I actually think black, or this charcoal color that we've made, will look really cool on the base of the dragon. Hopefully. But again, I don't know if this is going to work. And I think it's the black mica that worries me. Again, it's a very strong colour. And it's going to be competing with those lighter colours. So we'll see. All you can do with resin is, once you've poured it, sit and hope and pray to the resin gods that you're going to get a cool effect. Now, I have still got some of these crystals left. So again, I don't mind putting them in the dragon. I don't think you'll actually see them, but I might as well put them in there. And it uses less resin, and it will help fill up the mold. So that's that. Going with my transparent colours next, just because as I push it out with the black, hopefully it will give us a cool effect. I'm up to about 6 of these drip dragons now. I'm getting slightly obsessed. Another reason why I need to start selling some stuff, I think. So there we go. This is the rest of that red. And then I'm just going to fill this up with the remainder of the black. And I think I might even have enough clear left to do my starfish mould that I like, my crystal starfish. So again, I'm just going to try and do this from the centre so it pushes it out a little bit. Whatever colours I've put in there. And this is going to be a darker dragon. Because the other ones I've got, there's been a lot more white in them. Because I've been doing a lot of blooms. But this guy's going to be a lot darker, I think, because of this charcoal that I'm putting in now. So just scraping every last drop out. And I do find with this mould, and I'm not sure if it's just mine or if anybody else has got this mould, but it is slightly uneven. And I don't know if it's supposed to, so I always tend to overfill it a little bit. But let me know in comments if you find the same. So what I'm going to try and do is just preempt that, and it's almost the head that I find doesn't get filled properly. So I'm just going to put a couple of popsicle sticks underneath that head. Probably just the one, actually, I think, just to sort of raise the head a little bit and encourage the rest of it, hopefully to fill reasonably evenly. Because again, there's nothing worse than at demold realizing that your mold isn't even. So again, with this, I'm just going to go into those claws. Hopefully cover those a little bit. And this is just going to give him that sort of dark base layer. So I'm intrigued as to what this is going to look like as well. So either way, tomorrow should be an exciting demold, and it's already starting to do something with the coasters. So hopefully we'll get some sort of reaction. Very, very strange. Very different to the first Dragon Scale project. So again, I've just probably got enough actually to fill this dragon. So he is pretty much there. Now I'm going to just see if I do have enough to fill up this crystal starfish as well whilst I'm here. I think I should just have enough. And it's one of those molds that doesn't take a lot of resin, but the results I get with it I absolutely love. There we go. So that is pretty much full as well. And now with this one, I love the blues. It gives us almost an ocean effect. So I'm just going to get a few different blues out of my alcohol ink set. In fact, I've got a turquoise as well. I'm just going to drop in different inks, he says. So this is that turquoise, which I think is more of a greeny colour, but I think it will still work. This is just a standard blue. 1, 2, 3. And then I've got a sapphire blue as well, which is quite a deep one. So that is those inks. And then one of my favourite blues in the set is cerulean. I'm just going to put one of those in the centre. Hopefully it encourages those inks to just sort of travel around. And then what I like to do now is get my white sinker, wherever it is. There we go. And always make sure you shake it. That's why you put a ball bearing in there, because otherwise those pigments will just settle at the bottom and you won't get an even look. So again, I'm just going to put a few dabs, one in each leg, maybe 2 in the centre. And I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave that now. Come back to that in about an hour. I'm not going to come back to camera for that, and just give it a bit of a swirl around, and then we can demold all of these tomorrow. Just getting rid of any surface bubbles now. he says. Because the last thing you want, if these turn out well, is surface bubbles, ruining your piece. And just try and keep it central when you do this, guys. Try not to go too close to your mould. And again, I can't use it on the starfish because it's a handmade mould and you'll ruin it with the fact it's a really soft silicone, what they use for those handmade moulds. But I'm intrigued as to what we're going to get here. It's either going to look great or we're not going to get anything. And you see what I mean with that dragon? It's almost all pooling to this side rather than the head. So again, I'm going to try and fix it because honestly, it's so annoying when it doesn't fully level out. So I'm just going to try that and hopefully that will push the resin a little bit more towards the head. And I have got a tiny bit more of this clear. So I might as well make sure that it's filled all the way. Come on. And I've just noticed I've dropped a piece of dried silicone in that starfish, so I'm going to try and get that out as well. And again, because I'm topping this up with clear, I want to do it in the centre. So actually, if anything, it pushes those colours out further rather than giving me clear bits on the outside, which I think would look a little bit strange. And I think I can just squeeze a little bit more in there. So again, just with my stick, I'm going to give it a scrape. And again, I hate wasting resin, but you can see where it's all pooled in that tail and almost none in the head. So I'm intrigued if it's just my mold or if anybody else that has this mold has the same issues. Because if it is just my mold, a solution might be for me to just get another one. But I tend to find, as I say, it pulls more towards the tail than the head. So I almost have to fix it with these sticks. Again, just going to lift it up slightly and put that there. And hopefully that's going to... Now it's shifting more that way. I want it more that way. See, there's a lot more that goes into these dragons than you see on the videos. But I'm just going to put one more under there. And hopefully that will give us... There. I think that's reasonably level. So I'm going to leave that now to cure. Again, going to leave these to cure. As you can see, we're already getting an interesting effect, so we'll see. But I hope you've liked the project. If you have, do me a favour, like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow at Demold. Morning guys, and we're back, and it's time to demold. So I'm excited for these, just to see what they've turned out like. Now, again, I've got some sort of effect. I'm not sure what it's going to look like on the other side though on these. But I'm going to do the starfish first. Again, he's come out really nice, just with that slight Petri effect in each leg, and that crystal effect mould. So absolutely love these little starfish. I'm going to do the drip dragon next because he is filled. It's taken a few projects, but he is finally filled. So again, see what he's going to look like. And I'm loving these at the minute. They're genuinely coming out to be really, really nice pieces. And it's just from that excess resin. Wow. Again, I think he looks really cool. Just with those different colours all running through him. And again, that's just spare resin from the projects that I'm working on, going into that drip dragon mould and creating this effect. Really happy with him as well. He looks very different to the other 5 I've got now. And I'm excited to look at this guy when he's done as well, this French bulldog. So not got far to go, just the feet I think, before he's ready to mould. But now the main event. What, if any, effects have I got on these? Have I got a lava-like effect, which is what I was going for? Either way, I think these are going to be quite dark looking at the backs. So again, just going to demold them and we'll have a look. Wow. That has come out really cool. Bit of blobbing in the centre. I think it's the rocks I'm using, you know, in the centre, because this happened with the bloom as well when I used those rocks. And it might just be because I covered them in that mica as well. But I don't know, it's not really the lava effect I was going for, but you can just see the red going through it in the translucent areas. And I quite like them. I think it does look like lava. The centre maybe not so much, but the crackle effect definitely. So that's one. Wow. Again, I love that. It is. It's like, for me, it's like dried lava. So I have managed to get the lava effect. I was hoping it'd be a bit more colourful with the colours going through it, but I think the black sort of overtook everything. But it's still a lovely, lovely effect, I think. And something different, you know, which is what I always look for. Is to try and get a slightly different effect. Again, look at that. A little bit of glitter and glisten coming through as well from those chameleon powders that I threw in with the black. But yeah, I quite like this. What do you guys think? Do you like the effect? I'm just thinking if you've got a cream or a white coffee table or something like this, these will really stand out. But yeah, really happy with those effects that have come through. I might try and figure out a way to still emphasize the black a little bit more, but for me, I was going for the lava effect. I'm figuring out how to get a lava effect, and I don't think I'm far off with those. Let me know what you think in comments. As always, if you've liked the content, do me a favour, give me a thumbs up. Put something in comments, like and share the video. But I hope you've liked it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.